Assalamu alaikum students. Today we are going to study soliloquy number 5 and this is continuation of previous lectures on Hamlet written by William Shakespeare. Okay students, before going to analyze the text, I want to discuss the context of this soliloquy. As we have read in previous soliloquy that Hamlet was confused regarding taking revenge and regarding a ghost reality, that whether that ghost is of his dead father or a devil. So he was confused in both tasks, and there is always a tug of war between his mind about the goodness, about the goodness of morality, and about the evilness of Claudius. So he decided to perform a play named as Murder of Gonzago to find out the reality of Claudius, to find out the reality of his father's murder, and about the reality of ghost. That whatever that ghost was telling him is based on truth, or it's just a story. Then we see that after performance, Hamlet observes the guilty, the suspicious nature of Claudius, and also he was thrilled about finding the conscience of Claudius, who immediately retires from court, who immediately leaves the court in a very distraught situation. So this is also a guess, and Hamlet schemes worked. So he thought that Claudius is really a murderer because of his retirement from the court, because he left that court after that performance. So after that performance, Hamlet was called by his mother, and uh, Clunius was escorting him, and here Hamlet asked Polonius to give him a little time before going to the chamber of his mother. Fine, this is the context of this soliloquy, and while in that um in that alone time, Hamlet reveals that soliloquy. Okay, this soliloquy is in Act 3, Scene 2, and the textual lines are: "'Tis now the very witching time of night, when churchyards yawn and hell itself breathes out. 'Tis now the very witching time of night. 'Tis means this. This is the very perfect time of practicing evil. Witching time of night means that all witches, ghosts, demons, and all kind of supernatural elements becomes more active even when magic is the most likely to happen, because this is the midnight time. And here it is also called the true witching hour, means the extreme evil activity. And here the idea of magic, the idea of evil is presented by the Hamlet, and there is also a context of these lines when Europe was suffering from Black Death plague. At that time, art was dark and often represented by the devils and demons. Because of the plague, many people were died, and they were used to bury him in their churchyard, in their yards, in their home yards. So Here, Hamlet is telling us that idea that when churchyard yawn means that church which are full of graves, and that church, that churchyards, and that church are, even church is a place where goodness prevailed, where the where prayers are to be happened. So here he is saying that even the churchyards yawn and they seep out the devils, the demons. Seep out means the leakage, the outcome. So here the churchyard seeps out the demons, the ghost, and the supernatural element. So here he is saying that this is the best time of practicing evil, when all the demons, all the supernatural elements, ghosts, witches are active. And even hell itself breathes out, and hell is full of evil spirits. He says that the time of midnight is a time when all the evils are seeps out from their homes, from their from their places. So here Hamlet, the inward of Hamlet is also full of that evil spirit, as the churchyard, as the hell is. And he is um, associating that inward evil with the evil outward. The next line of this soliloquy is contingent to this word. Now, could I drink hot blood? The word contagion means a disease spread by close contact, and that disease that is spread by close contact is the disease of evil. And as I said in previous slide, that here Hamlet is relating, associating the evil that is in him, and he is relating it with the evil outside, the evil that prevails in the midnight, full of evil, full of power. So he's saying that the word contagion means a disease that is spreading inward and outward by the close contact. Close contact means both both the evil is the same, so they are having the close contact. So he's saying that contingent to this word. Now could I drink hot blood? Here Hamlet is in mood to drink hot blood, means to take revenge. He is thrilled and he is excited because his scheme worked. Which one scheme? The scheme of that play, The Murder of Gonzago, because that due to that scheme, he he comes to know about the murderer, and he comes to know about the revelation of that ghost is based on truth. So there is a confidence that is boosted up in him to take the revenge. So here he is in full mood to drink hot blood, means to drink, to take revenge. And he's upset over his mother because she is going to remarry, and here he is relating, he is in intention um, to take revenge from his mother first. Okay, the next lines of this soliloquy is, and do such bitter business as the day would quack to look on. Here, students, you will come to know about the business mentality of Hamlet, that Hamlet knows that if he makes the wrong move at the wrong time, there could be a lot of trouble. He is planning what and how to speak with his mother. So, this is the business mentality that the wrong steps, the wrong moves, the wrong words to his mother would lead him to the wrong decision. And secondly, he is saying that and do such bitter business, that this scheme, this work would be bad if as the day would quack to look on. Here, the idea of daytime is presented because in daytime we are unable to practice any evil. So he is emphasizing again on the idea of midnight evil, midnight that the night time has power to practice evil than the daytime. He's saying quack means to shiver. So he's or to shake. He's saying that the daytime is very difficult time to practice that cruel activity, and he's saying that it is unable to do it at daytime. So he's saying that evil has power and that power doubles in the night time. So during daytime that terrible deed is very difficult to do, and mostly that evil minded people trembled in daytime to practice that evil. So here Hamlet is discussing the two aspects, that first is the bitter business, that business which he is going to practice will become bitter if he will practice that business in daytime. In this slide, the textual lines are: soft now to my mother, O heart, lose not thy nature, let not ever. Here Hamlet is thinking how to deal with the situation that he is currently going to face his mother, and he doesn't want to speak any harsh word to his mother because he still loves his mother and he doesn't want to hurt her. So here he want to speak truth, but in while speaking that truth he doesn't want to be harsh to his mother. So he is saying to his heart that, O heart, lose not thy nature. The nature of heart is loving, is caring, because the heart is full of emotions, feelings, sentiments, and the nature of heart is to love and to take care. So he is saying to his heart that, O heart, lose not thy nature, because he is not in condition, in situation to hurt his mother. So he is making his stamina to tolerate that truth while speaking to his mother. Next, he is saying that let not ever, that in not now but always, lose not your nature of loving his mother, of caring his mother, and he's saying himself to be soft to his mother. And the soul of Nero enter this firm bosoms. So here he is discussing, he is quoting the reference of Nero, who is infamous for his persecution of Christians and his involvement in burning of Rome in 64 AD. Nero murdered his mother, who had poisoned her husband, Em- Emperor Claudius, and Hamlet fears that his anger might compel him likewise to harm his mother. So he is quoting the reference of Nero to the soul of Nero enter this firm bosom. So the soul of Nero, who is infame, who is infamous, The infame means that not of a good reputation because of his evil nature. So he is quoting Nero here for the same situation, that Nero has faced the same situation uh, of murdering his own mother. So he is afraid of being Nero, basically. Okay, in this slide, the textual lines are: let me be cruel, not unnatural. I'll speak daggers to her, but use none. Here, uh, the words are very simple, but these words have very deep meaning. Like, let me be cruel, not unnatural. Cruel, a person who is cruel means a brutal, insane, very inhumane, and unnatural means the artificial. So, he is saying that let me be cruel, not unnatural. Cruel means a brutal. Human always has the two aspect, the good aspect and the bad aspect. The bad aspect is our cruel aspect, full of evil, full of uh, badness. So he is saying that let me be that bad one, but not unnatural. Unnatural is the artificial, that I don't want to be an artificial person. Let me be what I am, like a cruel, like no, I am annoying. I'm very upset with the situation. So let me be what I am feeling, what I am, what really I am. So I will speak daggers to her, but use none. Like, let me be cruel, and I'll speak daggers. Fine, relate these two lines. Let me be cruel, and I'll speak daggers to her, but I'll use none, and I'll not be unnatural. So here he he want to be cruel to her in order to facilitate the admission of her guilt. He want to be cruel to her to find out whether his mother is the part of the scheme of Claudius. He wants to know the reality of his mother, whether she is helping Claudius uh, in every evil step or not. So here his cruelty and his being very rude to his mother means that he want to know the reality. He want to know the reality of his mother, the admission of the guilt, while she is admitting the guilt of being the part of that crime, or she is the innocent one. So not only Claudius, but also Hamlet wants to know the reality of his mother. This line is also related with the previous lines, but in this slide, I have only written one line, that this line has a very deep meaning, a deep context. Like before that, Hamlet is saying that I'll speak daggers to her but use none. But here he is saying that my tongue and soul in this be hypocrite. It means that Hamlet wants to be as gentle as possible because he doesn't want to hurt his mother because of his love, but he is unable to act upon uh, his uh, his idea. Here he says that my tongue and soul in this be hypocrite means that he is planning to be hypocrite, that he is planning to make a scheme again to talk to his mother to find out the reality of her guilt. And he is saying that he is planning to be hypocrite because he knows that he must feign violent intentions towards his mother. He want to pretend a violent intentions toward his mother. So he's saying that uh, he's a little bit cunning to find out the reality. He is using many tactics to find out the reality, and this hypocrisy, this planning, this scheme is all the part of his cunningness. It reveals his cunningness. He says that he will pretend while talking to his mother to find out uh, the reality of for reality of her guilt. Okay, the textual lines in the slides are: how in my words somever she be shent, to give them seals never my soul consent. These two lines are the concluding lines of this soliloquy, and here Hamlet is saying, uh, before discussing what Hamlet is saying, I want to discuss the general idea about the character of Hamlet. That the hamartia of Hamlet is a procrastination, and he postponed his revenge. The basic problem about the character of Hamlet is that he is not a determined person. In one line, whatever he plans, in the next line, he negates. Fine. So, in this concluding line, in these two concluding lines, you'll see that he says that how in my words somever uh, she be sent, that he is not sure about the character of his mother. He says that how in my words some somever she be shent. Shent means violently blamed. That in his wording, his mother is a very bad character woman. Like he has said that, oh pernicious woman, and he's saying very bad words to his mother again and again. So in this line, he's again saying that how in my words somever she be shent, that my wording is very cruel, that my wording is very bad, bad to her, and she is violently blamed. Shant means violently blamed, and he is admitting here, after saying so much bad about his mother, he is here admitting that his wording about his mother is very bad. And in the next lines, he says that to give them seals never my soul consent. Seals were basically used during Middle Ages instead of signature. And since Hamlet, the Prince of Denmark, has own seal to use at his consent, here he means that he is not making any agreement that what is the reaction of Hamlet will be on the remarriage of his mother, on the uh, on the reaction of his mother. So he is, after saying so much, he is saying that although his words are very bad about his mother, but he is not giving any agreement, any consent, any consent by his heart or soul to the words that he has said. Like he is not making any agreement what is the reaction of Hamlet will be, what is the reaction, what is the outcome. So again, the theme of procrastination and the indetermination of Hamlet is revealed here. After saying so much, after planning so much, after uh, each and everything, after that, the Hamlet stands on the zero. He is not in a condition to take any step practically. So, verbally, and although verbally, he has said so much bad about his mother, but after saying so much, he is again saying that and admitting that he has used bad words for his mother, but he is not going to make any seal. He is not going to sign whatever he has said, and he is not making any consent. What is the reaction of Hamlet after knowing each and everything? I hope you will understand it. And the journal idea, the next is the journal idea, and that you will study by yourself. Thank you very much.